Okay, welcome back to episode 3 of Brotherhood Talks. Today we are honored and enthused to have Jeffrey and Kenny here to talk about personal image. So let's clap it up for them.
Hey.
So happy to have you. We started October 4th talking about emotional intelligence. And we built on that last week talking about confidence and how confidence connects to emotional intelligence. Now, today we want to talk about personal image and talk a little bit about what you all do and how that connects to to emotional intelligence. I imagine we'll talk a little bit more about self-esteem today and what your self-image sort of says about you. So first, let's start off with who you are and like how did this sort of team duo come together. And let me also say they are York alum. So this is a great moment right here for our students. So yeah, let's get into it.
Oh, I mean, Jeff, you want me to start for the first time, huh? Okay. Well, I'm Kenny Occena. I've been practicing dentistry for the last 12 years now. I am an alumni, 2007, and I've seen so much change here. Like I love it, Roosevelt. I love the improvements you guys have made. As far as how this transpired, I mean, I came into the school, transferred from at the time Syracuse. This was back in 2001, 2002, and Carmelo Anthony was running the school at the time, and it was a party school, and I fell victim to that party atmosphere and got into academic probation. Then my parents were, well, we didn't send you to school to do, this, that, and the third. Got my act together the following semester, got my grades up, transferred back down here. And my focus at the time was, because of my parents, was dentistry. You have to go into doctor, lawyer, engineer. I'm of a Haitian background, so if it's in STEM, it's nothing. So I came in, and at the time, Miss Branch was my counselor, and I've just was hearing about this buzz of this guy. He had all the women, Jeffrey here, Jeff, all over the place. I'm like, who is this Jeff guy? I was always in and out of the school. I would work and then go into my classes. Then Miss Branch was like, well, you want to go into dentistry? Jeff wants to go into dentistry as well. You guys should meet. You have a similar personality and similar vibe. Met the guy, and that's all she wrote. We've been, best friends ever since. He's loyal. We have great conversations. We feed off each other. We build with each other. So, ever since then, it started in York because of the recommendation from my guidance counselor at the time in York to know that person was that vibrant and that eclectic, and that's somebody that I should pair with. And ever since then we've been inseparable almost.
Let me definitely correct him there. I was the coolest cat in Jamaica, Queens. That's number one.
Okay. Y'all heard it from the man himself.
Yeah. Number one. Number two, our personalities were vastly different. I'm much cooler than he is.
I never said I was cool.
Yeah, I can keep going, but I'm gonna spare my guy.
I got you.
Listen, I came to this school all the way from the Bronx to get away from home, but I didn't want to go away to school because I'm an only child, so mama's boy. So I was all right, it's the best of both worlds. I'll take the D train to the last stop till I can't go.
I would leave the Bronx too.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
And then take the E train to the last stop because I can't go anymore. Came to this school through the Mercy of the Sikh program with an idea to go into creative sciences, which I guess when you do the math, you're like, all right, how do I stay creative? How do I become a doctor? All right, I guess it's dentistry, right? That just kind of makes all the sense in the world. So I was chasing that dream for quite some time. And as Kenny stated, we got close through a guidance counselor. And if you found another, let's say, black gentleman, a young kid who was looking to go into dentistry, it's like, all right, well, we just got to stick together because they're gonna try to push us out. Mm-hmm. Then we came across a book. Ms. Johnson, a teacher of mine, gave us his book, The Pact. It talked about 3 young men, black brothers from Jersey. Yeah. They made a pact to become doctors, and I read that thing front to back in
Me too.
2 days. And I was like, all right, listen, I know exactly what we need to do. We need to write a book. We need to wear suits. We need to get a deal. Like, I was pumped. And we took that energy through when I graduated from here. And I finished with a degree in biology and mine in pre-dental studies. But through that time, he and I were doing like extracurricular activities within the school. So I started a lot of the events here in the school. You know, I did a college pageant.
The Heat.
I did a big fashion show. There was a party that we had, and then there was a basketball game that we would play against the teachers. I say all that to say, what I was doing essentially was allowing my creative abilities to showcase themselves outside of the classroom. Mm-hmm. So everything that I was doing inside the classroom wasn't really what my soul was calling. It was to be creative. And the fashion events and the music events that I was doing was kind of preparing me for life outside of school. Mm-hmm. We both left the school, and then we went to live our lives. And 10 years later, we came back together to kind of finish what we started. So
well,
we're
you're
on
saying
a
it 10 years later, like we stopped being friends or something. Like
I'm not cool with you. I don't know this guy.
Like you took a 10-year break?
Yeah. No, we never stopped being friends. I think we've been friends. What's going on 20 years?
Yeah, it's been a great journey, and through that journey, with Kenny going into dentistry, and then I myself going into non-for-profit work, like really getting a feel of community, but still, you know, keeping that fashion chip on my shoulder. We would have these conversations, and we would go out. We would take trips. Mm-hmm. We would get dressed up. Then we noticed that the way we looked or exhibited ourselves within the city or even outside the country was very differently from how we saw other folks. And it was like, what is this? Like, why?
And
what's going on?
Differently as well.
And we were received.
So let's get into that. So let's talk about, why is personal image important?
Kenny?
Man, like it's your brand. You know, it's who you are. It's what, unfortunately, we in a vain society. People judge you not by the content of your character. Unfortunately, not yet, as Malcolm said. Still, they judge you by how you look. Still, they judge you by if you have, you know, locks. You know, I don't call them dreads because I know better, because I have them as well as you do. So they'll judge you if your skin is, you know, certain complexion. If your skin is clear, if your skin is not, if your teeth straight, if your teeth are not, you know, are you disheveled, and so forth and so on. Pretty privilege is a thing for both men and women. So that's what we've kind of, you know, just more so just stumbled upon, to where it's like, wow, like when a particular individual, male or female or whatever you want to classify yourself as, present themselves in a certain way and is polished, it's received better. And it opens, you know, some doors here and there, or certain opportunities that you might not have if you weren't this polished. So that's what we discovered.
And Roosevelt, is very interesting. As a student here, the way you see me now, like dressed with all this Gucci. I'm just joking. The way you see me dressed now is how I was dressing, not to this scale, to this magnitude, but
cap,
whatever. But the
same essence,
the essence of it, right? The idea of it, the aura of it, and not changing my look for, let's say, a biology professor who felt that this is not how a person's supposed to get 90 on an exam in genetics is supposed to look. Like, how am I supposed to look, right? So I kept that same energy throughout. And what Kenny is saying, and I'll correct him there, our great brother Martin, you know, we want to live in a society where you're judged by the content of your character, not by the color of your skin. But we are in a society where you are judged by the brand of your clothing and the aesthetic of your style, right? So style is a language, fashion is communication, and we would be fools to not learn how to speak, right? If you were a 35-year-old man and you were still saying goo goo gaga, you know, in terms of like a conversation, people would look at you like you're crazy. So why would you come outside or step into an interview with, you know, New York Knicks shorts and a T-shirt and Jordan sneakers?
Yeah.
Right? So it's do not get caught slipping is what we say. So Kenny and I have essentially come back together and say, you know what? A lot of our friends or our peers are missing opportunities by not capitalizing on what we're having a discussion about. So we've produced and developed an experience called the drip in the bag, which I'll let Kenny talk about a bit.
Well, so the drip and the bag, more so it's a package of how you want to present yourself, how the methods of communication. Like a lot of individuals don't practice. We don't get to speak out loud a lot. We're indoors. Some of us do work from home, and you get on the calls. Sometimes you're on the calls, you're listening, you're not even talking.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes your screen is off.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't get to practice public speaking. We don't go outside.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to be able to articulate ourselves. We need to be able to communicate effectively and make sure that we're understood in a presentable manner.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the things that that's emphasized in the drip in the bag. You want to make sure that you're presentable, how you're dressed. You don't need to go as fly as Jeff. Jeff, what he always alludes to is that he dresses dangerously. So I don't dress as dangerous as Jeff. I try to stay at a parallel sometimes, but there are other times where he's just too fancy for me. So I bow. I respect his lane, and I take my lane. So you want to make sure that you're also presentable. You want to make sure that you're clean and you smell good.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these things before you even speak, sometimes it's important.
So we were down to like 60 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
In this last minute, I want you all to hit on what is the correlation between personal image and self-esteem.
Oh, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Show me your
Tell 'em, Jeff.
5 closest friends, and I'll show you the type of style you have. Right? Your network equals your net worth, and personal image equals branding, which is directly correlated to your finances and how you navigate relationships, point blank, period. So if you are, unfortunately, a slob, it's not nobody's fault but your own, then maybe your life is not as well put together. It's just a theory in which I am continuing to study, and I can verify that soon come. But Kenny, what did you say?
Quick story, just to highlight that. Yeah, I'll wrap it up. So maybe about 2 months ago, my partner, she is huge in collecting images, especially black and white. So we get to an exhibition, a gallery, and phenomenal photos. I circle the ones I want. She circles the ones that she wants. We get to actually meet the artist. Now, the artist presented himself very disheveled, with not too good hygiene and odor and breath and so forth. And she left me there to continue the conversation with him. Decided against purchasing such art, as said art, because of how the artist presented himself. So now that particular artist lost $4 or $5 grand just because of his personal image.
So there you have it, Roosevelt. And your college family, it is incredible, and I'll say it again, it is incredibly important to pay attention to your image. And when we mention the word image, it doesn't have to mean fashion style. There's a difference between fashion style and personal style. Fashion style is what you see in the magazines, GQ and double-breasted jackets and the glitz and the glam. Personal style is just another way of communicating your personality through your clothing. We cannot come outside naked. Right? You have to come outside. You have to put something on. So why not let that be an extension of your character? Because it already is. So check the mirror before you get checked, I guess, right?
Yeah.
I love that. Check the mirror before you get checked.
Yeah, there you go.
This is great. Thank you so much for coming, and we hope to have you again next semester. I'm pretty sure
I'm back home.
Definitely.
I feel good.
Yeah, thank you.
Good,
I feel
good,
for having
good,
us.
good,
This
good.
feels,
It's a
this feels
pleasure.
right. This feels
Good. I feel good back at home, man.
Things have come full circle, right?
Yeah, there we go. But thank
love
you.
it.
And let me just add props to you and what you're doing in
Appreciate it.
Oh yeah, most
supporting
definitely.
the students and the youth, and looking beyond the scope of the classroom and grades, because support, which you're big on, is what we all need. And he and I were each other's support system.
Yeah.
And still are to this day. Right.
Love
I have a big support system with my lady and my mother. This was integral here. At times when I feel like I can't do it. And he was like, I can't do it. I was like, well, you're not going anywhere but to dental school. He's like, well, you got to graduate.
Right.
Checked me and I checked him. So we're like each other's mirror in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Check the mirror before you get checked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bars.
Well said.
Let's clap it up for them. Thank you guys. And we're off. Next week we are talking about how to beat anxiety. So that'll be a very interesting conversation. Until then, be blessed. We'll see you next time.